how did you get into teaching? And tell us about that, and then where you are now, actually.
Okay, so in my before I auditioned for drama school, I decided to take a year out. At the time, obviously, as I said, I was in Cantharmus, so I was doing a lot of vocal stuff, and I was doing dance, taking dance classes, but and doing acting and things at school. But it was very much a sort of the school productions or and that was it. I didn't know enough, in my opinion, about acting. I didn't know enough about the technique of acting. So I decided that I wasn't going to audition for drama school in year 13, but I was going to take a year out. And then I sort of looked around for a course in acting that I could do for the year. I found a course at a college near me, and they ran this 1 year course that was ran by actors, which they only ran it for 2 years and then it stopped. But I got onto that course, I auditioned and got a place, and that was when I fell in love with acting. I did a production of Can't Pay, Won't Pay by Dario Fo, and there was no singing in it, there was no dancing in it. It was acting, and I was just like, hang on a minute, like, how do I feel this joy just from acting? Because I was so used to doing musical theatre, used to doing all three, and then started to look into the works of Ayckbourn and Beckett and Pinter and Shakespeare. And then I was like, okay, I'm really driven by straight acting as well. And that's why I then honed my skills. And at the time, I had an old teacher that said to me, are you busy for this year? And I said, well, no, I'm doing a course. And she said, would you like to come and assist me? Would you like to come and teach in my like acting school? And I said, yeah, I'd love to come and do that. And she said, how do you feel about teaching singing? Because she knew I'd taken all my grades. And she said, with the younger students, would you like to do that? And I said, yeah. And that's how it all started. So, and then it's sort of, at the time I was like finger prodding on the piano, like the one finger pianist, being like, sing that note. And obviously I could do it to show it. And that's sort of how my teaching started. And then it started to evolve because, as you know me, and people that do know me, I like to know everything about what I'm doing because I want to know I'm doing it correctly. And that's when I sought like guidance. And that's when I started to come into your masterclasses and obviously the retreats and learning more about actually what I was doing.
That's a lot of people start teaching singing exactly in the way that you just described.
Almost by mistake.
Yeah.
Or are invited by other people because you can already sing. Yeah. So they assume that you have the teaching skills already, which often people don't.
No. And I do think that's important, Jeremy, that, a lot of people say just because you can, it doesn't mean that you teach. And I know people use that phrase a lot, but I genuinely believe that. And also, just because you're not a singer, it doesn't mean that you can't teach singing. It's very much a two-way thing. I think the biggest thing for me is that I like to be able to do because I like to be able to show. But now, especially as we fast forward in this accreditation, I am learning so much more about the physiological side of it. There's a word, isn't there? Yeah. About it, and also the anatomy and understanding very intricate things that I am now able to demonstrate and explain.